Hey guys, Friday, happy Friday, you guys. So today, usually we do the Eric Thomas motivational video. So I decided that we can start it back as if we're at Job Corps. So today we're going to look at a motivational video by, of course, Eric Thomas. So I've done this a few times today, and I've been trying to get this volume correct. I really, really hope that it is fine now. It doesn't echo anymore. So if it does, please, please, please disregard. And hopefully by next week, I can most definitely knock out the kinks and the kinks or whatever is going on with this video. Also, try to hopefully it's better lighting. I don't know. Hopefully so. So just bear with this. This is the first week of this. The fully first week. So just bear with this. Also, Eric Thomas, the video we're gonna look at. It's called. Well, first I want to let you see. Also, look what I can do. Studio mode. So if any of you students who want to go head to head with me, come on, bring it. No, but seriously, I downloaded this today, so I'm kind of liking it. I just got to figure out some more details and stuff with it. But just I get it together. So the video by Eric Thomas is called "Believe in Your Greatness." So usually I can speak and talk and then go back and forth with Eric Thomas a little bit, but because of the volume and with the auxiliary, I'm gonna try to minimize it just because the first take, it was horrible. So bear with me, okay? So we're gonna do this together, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, minimize it now. I'm gonna come back, but I'm minimizing right now for the video because if I don't, the echo will be horrible. Okay.
Put out so much content that if you listen to my stuff for free, every single day, if you listen to one of my pieces of content, there's over 10 years worth of content. There's over 10, like you can listen to me once a day for 10 straight years and not have to pay nothing. But guess what happened in those 10 years? Cam Newton started listening to me in middle school and high school. Then he went to Auburn and told the coach to come get me. Then he went to the pros and told the coach, I got to speak at all these kids in the hood who didn't have fathers, I became their father on Instagram. So when they went to the NBA, they took their daddy with them. When they went to the NFL, they took their daddy with them. When they became preachers and started church, when they became CEOs or execs at companies, when they looked for a trainer, it wasn't that I was better than anybody else, but they didn't see less as their daddy. Any product I come out with, they buy it because they feel like you raised me. The least I could do is spend $25 with you. Does that make sense? So we're not looking at competition as it's something, come on, we're not looking at competition as it's something bad. We're looking at competition as something. So don't be afraid of your competitors. And do not compare yourself to your competitors because you'll never be as good as they are at what they do.
I think that's a good stopping point to just discuss that. What Eric Thomas said that you're not your competitor, and not comparing yourself to others who are maybe doing the same thing as you. To not compare yourself to them because two totally different people, totally different mentalities, two totally different people. So I think that is also good to not compare yourself to someone else. Their race and your race, two totally different races. So whatever you're doing in life, whether it be getting your high school, getting your trade, getting your job, you don't, it is a such thing as a healthy competition or whatever. But to not be the only competition you should have on foot really is yourself, pushing yourself, motivating yourself, but not comparing yourself, feeling down about yourself, about what you've accomplished. If you look at where you are now and where your past, you can really sit and think like, hey, I have come a long way. But if you focus on what someone else is doing and what they're not doing, then you can't see how far you've made it or how far you've come. So I have to take this back down now. So we go back to the video.
But you could be good at being loud. I could be good at being energetic. Does that make sense? All right, let's go. All right. In order to achieve greatness, you must first believe you can. I got 17 minutes. Look, if Eric said you can't talk about nothing else for the next 17 minutes, this is the most important one. Because for some of you, the reason why you're not taking advantage of this opportunity is not because you don't believe in it, you don't believe in you. Come on, y'all got to catch. Come on, you got to catch this one. I got 16 minutes. Y'all got to catch this one. You got to catch this one. I honestly believed in the earlier part of my career, when I used to stand on these kind of stages, I wasn't as effective as I am now. Because when I was first introduced to do something like this, maybe 500 people, 1,000 people, I literally would come in the room, and as gifted and as talented as I was, even though I belonged and I had everything I needed to do, I would walk in the room and feel like it's not my room. I don't belong in this room. I remember, same gift. The videos had already been out. My numbers were great. And I would come in rooms and go, or like that room, like I go to a high school, like boom. I go to a youth detention center, boom. I go to a prison, boom. I come to corporate and go, I don't know if I belong in here. Everybody in the room don't look like me. They don't come from where I come from. I don't know if I belong here. And I'll never forget, I had a conversation with Les Brown.
I think that's another positive, impactful statement that Eric Thomas made, saying that when he come into a room, in the beginning, when he came into a room, he almost felt like he didn't belong, or that he didn't deserve everything that was happening or going good in his life. And I think a lot of you guys experience the same exact thing, and not only you guys, myself included, and others as well, who, you want something, and then once you get it, an example, you say you want love, but once you have that person that love you or whatever in your life, are you accepting to? Are you embracing it? Are you self-sabotaging the relationship? Or are you doing something that can you saying you want it, but your actions are saying that you don't want it? So that's that fight within you, the very thing that you want, you kind of fight against, or you feel like you don't deserve it. Even though that's what you want, you've worked hard to obtain it, you still sometimes feel like you don't deserve it. Why is that? Why is it that you want something and you work hard for it, but yet you still feel like you don't deserve it, or that you're still not enough? Good statement.
Les Brown had called me to Orlando. We sat in the hotel, and I left, and I started talking to Les, and I started naming like, yo, you, Les Brown, this person, number one in the world. He said, don't you ever say that again. I said, don't say what? He said, you the best in the world right now. I said, what? He said, you the best in the world right now. There's nobody as good as you in the world. You're the best right now. The only reason you're not the best right now is because you don't believe you're the best now. And when you walk out this room, I want you to go in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm the best right now. He said, before you even become number one, start to proclaim it and say it long before it happens. Say, I'm the number one motivational speaker in the world. And when I was number 20, I started saying, I'm the number one motivational speaker in the world. And I went to the computer, and the world said exactly what I said, that Eric Thomas is number one in the world. I spoke it, the world heard it, and it activated. Your problem is that you don't believe you belong here. Your problem is that you don't think you should be sitting down here. Listen to me very closely.
Another great point, another excellent point by Eric Thomas. You have to speak it into existence, though it doesn't look like what it is or where you want it to be, or where you at right now. You're not where you want to be. Speak it into existence. Sometimes you have. That's where it first starts. You speaking into existence over and over, no matter, in spite of what it looked like. You speaking into existence so that down the road, whatever you spoke, it comes to fruition. First thing first, you have to speak it into existence. That's awesome.
Closely. You've got a man in a family that's been doing this for over 30 years. You've got a program that's tried and true. You have individuals that have proven it can be done. The only reason you sitting up there is because you don't believe you belong down here. I'm gonna say it one more time. The only reason you're up there is because you don't. When I believed that my voice was needed in this world, when I believed that I needed to be on the stage, not for myself, but to speak to a group of people who come from where I come from, a working class, who don't know what it's like to make millions and millions of dollars, who don't understand what wealth looks like, that I needed to come in the room with a single parent mother, with a father not in my life, being homeless and a high school dropout. Only somebody who comes from where you come from can tell you you belong. And I had to get my butt on stage because there's some folks that Les Brown can't reach. There's some folks that Tony Robbins can't reach. There's some folks that only I can reach. And so I need to be on the stage with them, doing what I was called to do.
What I got from that statement from Eric Thomas there was that we can be the first in our family, first generation in our family. So you could be the first to get your high school diploma, and though your siblings or whoever, your cousins, those looking up to you, whether you know or not, they're looking up to you, and you can be the first in your family, and that can be an effect to where they want to get their high school diploma, they want to get their trade, they want to get that job, they want to do things the right way because you took that step. And sometimes that's the hardest part, is take that first step, but you taking that step can then put it to where they, in their mind, that hey, I can do this too, or give them that motivation to also think I can do it too because my cousin did it, or my sister did it, or my brother did it, or my uncle did it, or my friend did it. So sometimes a lot of people look up to you whether you know it or not. So it's up to you to make that move and move past fear, because on the other side of fear is that very thing that you're looking for.
You can listen to me once a day for 10 straight years and not have to pay nothing. What in the world? I spoke it. Have proven it can be done. The only reason you sitting up there is because you don't believe. To be on the stage, not for myself, but to speak to a group of people who come from where I come from, a working class, who don't know what it's like to make millions and millions of dollars, who don't understand what wealth looks like, that I needed to come in the room with a single parent mother, with a father not in my life, being homeless and a high school dropout. Only somebody who comes from where you come from can tell you you belong. And I had to get my butt on stage because there's some folks that Les Brown can't reach. There's some folks that Tony Robbins can't reach. There's some folks that only I can reach. And so I need to be on the stage with them, doing what I was called to do. And there are those of you still up there because you don't think you belong in that $1 million home. Look, I'll never forget when I first told them I was moving to California, I was putting my wife deserves to be out of the winter in Michigan. She deserves that. I remember they said, E.T., you moving to Cali? I was like, yeah. They said, what was the first thing they said? You know how expensive California is? I said, it can't be too expensive. There's millions of people that live there. Like for real, when I move there, it won't be like 5 of us in California. There are 5 human beings. I'm like, there's a lot of people live in California. It can't be that expensive. Are you selling your home in Michigan? I said, no, why would I do that? How can you afford 2 homes? How can I not? My wife has MS. How can I not? She wants to be with her family in the summer and she wants to be in the warmth in the winter. How can I not be bi-coastal? I won't be the first one. As a matter of fact, there's some people who own 3 and 4 homes. So we got one there, and now I'm looking at the French Riviera as my next spot. We talked about the French Riviera, baby. That's my next spot, is the French Riviera. I'm gonna have a house somewhere close to your neighborhood, and boom. Listen to me very closely. If I had one message to leave you with that's a game changer, is you need to start to believe. Yeah, write this down. No. Do me a favor. Don't say that. Don't say you believe. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't say, look, it's not a behavior that I'm looking for, it's a mindset. No, here's the problem. You can't have, as powerful as the human mind is, it cannot think 2 thoughts at once. So here's what I need you to do. You need to get with these people down here and you need to reprogram your mind. All right, let me tell you why I'm saying that. So I got a friend of mine, like he sees how I treat my wife, right? So like I was homeless, high school dropout. So anything, like if Dee Dee thinks it, I'm gonna get it for her. I cook, I clean, like we are a partnership, like we do everything together. And so my boy watched the response I was getting from my wife as I wash clothes, as I cook, as I iron. And I'll never forget, my boy was like, I'm about to do that. And I was like, I wouldn't do that if I was you. He was like, no, I'm gonna start doing that. I was like, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And he didn't understand what I meant. But what I meant by it is, you're going to do it, but you're not gonna be able to do it consistently because you're mimicking my behavior, not my thought process. See, you're gonna stop ironing clothes because somewhere in your mind you think your wife is subservient. See, somewhere in your mind you think your wife was born to take care of your needs. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you, you can't do what I do with that mindset. Like you can't believe, because so now you're gonna start ironing clothes and the people in your culture are gonna say, what are you ironing clothes for? That's a woman's job. See, I don't have a problem when people tell me, I'll never forget, I was on the floor in an apartment we had, and I was mopping the floor on my knees, and my boy came in and was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm mopping the floor. You ain't never seen nobody wipe the floor. He was like, not on your hands and knees. I was like, yeah, my wife is a neat freak, so I got to get on my hands and whatever. He was like, yo, bro, you whipped. I was like, you ain't know that? What, you trying to embarrass me? You just found out I was whipped, bro? He was like, yeah, you whipped. I was like, I see that as a compliment. Whipped. Bruh, when I was homeless and living in abandoned buildings, my girl would sneak me into her crib. When I didn't have a job, she would give me her allowance at 15. When I went to college, she was the one that said, go get your GED and follow me to college or I'm breaking up with you. When I started my speaking career, she was the one that got her job first as a nurse, and we had health insurance, and the first house we bought, my credit was so messed up, she couldn't even take my last name. She bought the first house with her credit. What do you mean yeah, I'm whipped and loving it. I'm about to buy me a shirt that said whipped. There's over 10 years worth of content.
Okay, I'm new to this again, and I restarted it again, but I moved it back. So I think that he made another great point. But even though he related it to his wife, you could still relate it to life in general. So he said behavior versus mindset. You can do something for the behavior, or you can do it first for the mindset, with your mindset. So I would say that is the same as a lot of our students, as you guys know, want to be rappers, which is I had nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do with your life. But a lot of people don't know what goes into being a rapper. So the behavior part of it is just going after the flashy things, the jewelry, the cars, the clothes, the clubs, the club scene, the women, and all that stuff. But you don't know their mindset before they had all that stuff. They were grinding like working 2 and 3 jobs or doing whatever they had to do. So would you do that in order to get that? Will you make those sacrifices in order to? Your mindset is to make those sacrifices in order to get there. So a lot of people think that they just woke up one morning and were like, you know what, I'm gonna be a rapper today. So let me just get in the studio and I'll magically blow up. But it's not like that. A lot of people go years without being recognized, without being noticed, and then you think, oh, they just blew up. Well, no, it was a process. They had a work ethic to get there, and sometimes it take a while, and it took them to be dedicated and motivated, and a mindset, not a behavior, but a mindset, in order to get to where they are today. I'm sure if you ask any rapper, if you had to interview any rapper, I'm sure they would say that it wasn't easy and it didn't happen overnight. So overnight is a behavior where you think it happens overnight, but it didn't. They had to have a certain mindset in order to do it. So I'm gonna have to start it back over. Well, go back to where I was. So just give me a second and I'll do that.
See, you're going to stop ironing clothes because somewhere in your mind you think your wife is subservient. See, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just clothes, and the people in your culture are going to say, what are you ironing clothes for? That's a woman's job. See, I don't have a problem when people tell me. I'll never forget, I was on the floor in an apartment we had, and I was mopping the floor on my knees, and my boy came in and was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm mopping the floor. You ain't never seen nobody wipe the floor? He was like, not on your hands and knees. I was like, yeah, my wife is a neat freak, so I got to get on my hands and whatever. He was like, yo, bro, you whipped. I was like, you ain't know that? What, you trying to embarrass me? You just found out I was whipped, bro? He was like, yeah, you whipped. I was like, I see that as a compliment. Whipped. Bruh, when I was homeless and living in abandoned buildings, my girl would sneak me into her crib. When I didn't have a job, she would give me her allowance at 15. When I went to college, she was the one that said, go get your GED and follow me to college or I'm breaking up with you. When I started my speaking career, she was the one that got her job first as a nurse, and we had health insurance, and the first house we bought, my credit was so messed up, she couldn't even take my last name. She bought the first house with her credit. What do you mean yeah, I'm whipped and loving it. I'm about to buy me a shirt that said whipped. So you ain't even gotta ask me. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I worship the ground she walks on because she's been there for me since day one. So you can't mimic what I'm doing if you don't think like I think. I look at my wife as a queen. You look at your wife as your servant. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you guys have those roles. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand that. I've been with my wife my whole life. All of my success. I can't even divorce her because I don't know what's mine and what's hers. Like I never accomplished anything on my own. You're not hearing what I'm saying. So there are those of you who want to mimic their behavior. It's not their behavior you need. It's their mindset that you need. It's the way they think is what you need. And when you begin to think the way, let me say this to you, and this gonna be weird for my working class people. I actually worked harder when I worked. I know I got a GED. I'm so simple. It go right over your head. I'm gonna say it to you one more time. What I make in an hour now presentation, I actually worked harder when I was working. Okay, one more time. I felt it. It hit a couple of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all, you have been in the working class your whole life. You missed what I just said. I actually worked more hours, worked harder, and got less money when I used to work. Now that I have a wealth mentality, I just had a promoter call me to do some stuff in another country and was like, a couple hundred. And I'm like, I'm good, bro. And he was like, no, did you hear how much I said? My man couldn't believe I was telling him no. He was like, how can you say no to 200,000? I said, because I'm an ATM machine. I'm wealth. I don't work for money. I think up money. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. I don't work for money. I think of ideas and make money.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video as much as I did. I know I got something from it. I hope you guys did as well. Next Friday, I promise y'all have it more together as far as this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed and you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. I'll see you until next week. Take care, you guys.